Hello, this is Claude Sports Corner, and it's time for the Pittsburgh Steelers report for Week 5, 2016. And yes, Sunday afternoon, the Steelers will be at home facing the New York Jets. Now, I'm from New York, and I've seen a lot of the Jets, and if you remember the last time the Steelers played the Jets, they were at MetLife Stadium and lost an embarrassing game to them. And I'm not sure of the score. I think it was like something like 17-13, 13-10, something to that nature. Whoever remembers that score, you can let me know in the comments box. But also remember, Michael Vick was quarterbacking the New York Jets at that time. If I'm not mistaken, Geno Smith got hurt. And Ben Roethlisberger had just come off a huge performance, very eerily similar to the one that he had last week against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I remember that game vividly because they played the Indianapolis Colts and a hot Andrew Luck at that time. And if I'm not mistaken, Big Ben threw about 5 touchdown passes that particular game as well. If not, I think he did it. I think he threw 6 touchdowns that game. I digress. But nevertheless, the Jets beat them in embarrassing fashion. In fact, I remember Antonio Brown had a huge punt return fumble that also led to a New York Jet touchdown as well. Now, I'm pretty sure that the Steelers remember that game. And I'm sure that Mike Tomlin is also doing his due diligence to make sure that the Steelers stay up to snuff and do not have the letdown that they had against Philadelphia, in Philadelphia against the Eagles. Now, I know that we have a lot of injuries. Ryan Shazier will more than likely be out again. And you know what? If I'm the Steelers, I would hold out Shazier at least until after the break, after the bye week, which is coming up after we play the Miami Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken. Now, we do play the Dolphins the week after this one. And as you see, back-to-back AFC East teams, the Jets and the Dolphins. And we travel to Miami that particular time. Now, the Jets' front seven could wreck this game if the Steeler offensive line does not do its job. Leonard Williams, who is the second-year man out of USC, has been tremendous. I'm telling you, he wrecked that game against Cincinnati. He played well. In fact, he's played well the entire season. He has been their best defensive lineman. In fact, he's been better than Muhammad Wilkerson, and Wilkerson did get his money, and he has played well also. Listen, they have a formidable defensive line. I mean, between Sheldon Richardson, Leonard Williams, even Skip McClendon, who was mediocre at best with us. I mean, he was pretty good, but listen, they are letting him rush the passer. I understand in our scheme, the 3-4 scheme, our nose tackle, if anything, holds up so the linebackers can do all the blitzing, which is why Jamon Hargraves has been such a big plus for us. And let's face it, he's been better than Skip McClendon. But McClendon is doing well for the Jets. Now, as you know, Darrelle Revis is hurting, and he might be out, and even if he is playing, let's face it, he is not the same Darrelle Revis that we have come to know and love. And you know what? The Steelers have to take advantage of that. I'm pretty sure that they're going to roll some safety help towards Antonio Brown, which is, hey, that's the mantra for every team. But it's good to see Marcus Wheaton catching a touchdown pass. Sammy Coates has been great. Listen, the Steelers, it all predicates, we already know. Le'Veon Bell back, and he looked, well, I expected him to be sharp. I mean, my God, he had 3 weeks chomping at the bit. I expect nothing less than that from Le'Veon Bell. And now him and D'Angelo Williams will form the best two running back tandem in the NFL. Right now, that belongs to Atlanta. I have to give credit where it's due. Tevin Coleman and, of course, Devontae Freeman have been the best tandem in the NFL so far. But as you know, Le'Veon Bell and D'Angelo Williams, listen, you know we should have the best tandem in the league going forward. The biggest question mark, of course, is the health going forward of Le'Veon Bell and D'Angelo Williams. Those two stay healthy. Listen, the sky's the limit. We know this. On the defensive end, now Brandon Marshall has been hurt. Eric Decker might be out, but they do have a nice slot receiver. This kid in Numla could wreck the game if the Steelers are not careful. Now, luckily, Ryan Fitzpatrick is the quarterback, and he's been dreadful. In fact, he's been beyond dreadful. I mean, you know you're bad when they're crying for maybe putting in a Geno Smith. Listen, that could be a disaster, and I could see that happening. Ryan Fitzpatrick throws a pick or two to start the game. Listen, Todd Bowles might not have a choice but to put in Geno Smith. But you know what? The Steelers also have to be wary of Matt Forte. Now, I remember a game that they played the last time Matt Forte played against the Steelers when he's with the Chicago Bears, and this was about 3-4 years ago. I mean, they lit up the Steelers at Pittsburgh. It was embarrassing. It was a disgrace. We cannot allow Matt Forte to have a big game. And he's good out of the backfield catching passes as well. Matt Forte is a complete 3-down back. He is. Now, I know he's slow. He's not the same Matt Forte that he was in Chicago. And I understand why they got rid of him. But that doesn't mean he's any less dangerous. He's very dangerous. And everything is predicated off of him. Now, Fitzpatrick's a pretty good play-action quarterback as well. But, again, we have to make them a one-dimensional team. Force Fitzpatrick to beat you. Don't let Matt Forte go crazy, get a $125, catch about 6 passes, add another 70-plus yards. They can't allow Forte to do that. Force Fitzpatrick to beat you. Because Fitzpatrick's going to keep both teams in the game. Trust me. He does that. He did that against us when he played for the Houston Texans a couple of years ago. That's who he is. That's what he does. Now, the Jets could get fat off us. So we have to keep this game in perspective. And I'm pretty sure that we will. And I expect another Steeler victory. Please like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. This is Claude Sports Corner with the Pittsburgh Steeler Report. Take care and God bless.